All right, does that look okay? Okay, so we're going to, this is our office hour for our evaluation configurators. We're glad to have everybody back. If you have questions throughout, you can drop them in the chat or we'll open it up for questions at the end like we normally do. We have a new policy from the state that we do not permit the use of AI tools on our office hours in any meetings or other things that we do. So we will remove those if we see them. We ask that you not use those during our meeting to keep us from having to go through and remove them. But if you have something, it will be kicked out of the meeting. This is our educator effectiveness team. We may have some new evaluation configurators after Christmas. Sometimes there are roles that are changed. Some of you that have been with us for a while will notice a change on our team. Martha Moore, our senior director, retired the first of the year and is moving on to other endeavors, and we wish her well. We do miss her terribly. I'm Amy Floyd, the director of data and district support. Today we have Tracy Riddle with us, who is the director of educator effectiveness, Micah Fager, the director of team training and support. Sarah Brown is not with us today. She does the educator recognition and communication. And Candace Robertson, and we are glad to have her. She is our team coordinator. So today we're going to talk about finalizing 23-24 evaluations and entering the fall semester observations in Teen Compass, and talk for just a minute about partial year exemptions. The 23-24 evaluations should all be signed by an administrator and the educator. Administrators must complete this process before the educator can sign the evaluation with their pen. So at the bottom of each educator's page, there's these two boxes. If they generated an LOE, these two boxes are here. The administrator simply puts in their PIN number, clicks complete the form. It will open up a box, and the administrator has the ability to say, the box does not automatically open, excuse me. They put in their PIN, completes the form. This is what it will look like. You do not have to click this blue box. You just leave the evaluation and it's done. Then the educator gets an email and can come in and sign. If the educator is unavailable to complete the form, you click the blue button. It opens up this window and you have options. The educator has declined or is unavailable. And then you select the reason that the educator declined or is unavailable. It could be they just refuse to sign it. They're unable to complete. They're on leave. They're not there. They don't work in your district anymore. Or you may have a signature on file with a hard copy. There's a box for other that you can put in. And again, the administrator would have to put in their PIN number and click save. You can check this using the evaluation scores by educator report to review that they've been signed. You'd look at columns P through V. Column P tells you if an administrator has signed it, tells you when and who it was. And then S, T, and U, and V tell you if the educator signed or if they refused and why they refused. So you need to just check those and try to get all of those pinned, as many as possible, done at this point. If an educator did not generate an LOE due to missing data, if any available data can be entered. So if you have that data, you can upload that data, put it in Teen Compass, and the person can generate an LOE. If somebody forgot to put in an observation for a teacher so they didn't meet pacing, if you have the hard copy of that, you can go on and put that in. If you are a district that doesn't use the team rubric and you upload average observation scores, if you missed one in uploading, you can put that in now if you have it. Any achievement measure scores that you have, you can add those if you haven't already done that. So any of those scores can be uploaded to generate an LOE. Partial year exemptions. These are for educators, and this is straight from state board policy. Educators who are employed for contracts under 121 days, for 121 days or less, and they're not employed full time. So if you've got somebody that just works a couple of hours a day the whole school year, they're going to be partial year exempt. If you've got somebody that is working, 120-day contract, then that person will be partial year exempt. Full-time teachers who would otherwise receive an evaluation score may be eligible to receive partial year exemption under these circumstances. They've been on extended leave and won't meet the 120 days of instruction with students to receive an evaluation score. So if they're on an extended leave for whatever reason and do not meet the 120 days of instruction, then they would be marked PYE. If they transfer to a different school and cannot provide the 120 days of instruction to students, so if they transfer to a different school and have different kids, they can be PYE or teach a different subject even. If the educator has transferred to another role during the school year and cannot provide the 120 days, they started out as a kindergarten teacher and they were moved to a SPED teacher or to a different role and are not going to provide 120 days of instruction. If they became an assistant principal at Christmas, they need to be marked PYE. That's two completely different rubrics. Partial year exemptions shall be identified by the LEA or the charter school in the state evaluation data system, which is T-Encompass. And educators who receive a partial year exemption will not receive an evaluation score for that year. They won't receive an LOE. Their pacing will be based on the prior year for the upcoming year. There are two ways to identify educators as PYE. You can go directly to that educator's record and set it, or you can import if you have if you're in a large district and you have a lot of teachers that move around after Christmas or have left, then you can import those educators using the import wizard. You can use, the other thing you're going to want to do is monitor your fall observations. Fall observations should be completed. So everybody should have at least one observation in the fall, regardless of what their LOE was. So use your pacing guide report in T-Encompass to monitor the pacing. Columns M through V will give you information. Column M tells you what kind of license the teacher has. N tells you the minimum of instructional requirements. Column O tells you how many of those instructional requirements have been met. The same thing for P and Q, that's planning. R and S tells you the environments that are required and the number that have been met, and the professionalism observed. We wouldn't expect anybody to have a professionalism requirement met at this point. And column V says, have they met pacing? At this point in time, I wouldn't think you would have any teachers who have met pacing. But this is a great way for you, just as an evaluation configurator, to see how your building level principals are managing their observations. We also ask that you update LEA contacts in T-Encompass. If you would everybody would go in and take a look at that, because this is what we use to contact you. We use it, but there are also other departments that use our contact list to contact different people in your LEA. So to do that, you go into T-Encompass, you go to the administration tab, click on LEA settings, and then click on contacts. You can see you'll have a contacts and setting. You're going to want to click on contacts. When you open it up, this is what it looks like. If you just need to change one, or if you need to change an email, you can erase it and change it. If you click this little eraser button that I have highlighted in yellow, it will erase the whole line. So if you had a director of schools change, you can just erase that whole line and put all the 3 pieces of information back in. And be sure you click save at the end. These can be updated at any time during the school year when you have a change. So we appreciate you keeping those up to date. Your next steps are to ensure evaluations are signed and enter any missing data if needed. Monitor your observation pacing, mark your educators PYE as needed, and review your LEA contacts and update those. Here are some resources for you to complete each of these things. These are the directions to complete the pinning of observations. That information is also in the T-Encompass Data Evaluation Data Management Guide. The T-Encompass Charts and Reports Overview just gives you an overview of what all of those charts and reports have in them. That's just kind of handy to review from time to time. And then there's a partial exemption guidance document. These are email supports. Obviously, Team Questions is the one that we answer the most. And you can email Team Questions with questions about T-Encompass, observations, growth and achievement measures, TVOS, the alternative growth measure, universal reading screener, and evaluation training. Any questions about portfolio should go to portfolio questions. Roster verification will be coming up soon. Those questions go to rv.questions@tn.gov. Excuse me. Educator licensure. We get a lot of questions regarding license. We do not have the knowledge to answer those questions nor the resources. And we don't mind forwarding that, but when you send them to us, it delays your response because we have to get that first and then forward it on. But they can help you with licensure, professional PDP points, and experience. Tassel.information for any questions about Tassel. Anything with the administration of the Tennessee Universal Reading Screener needs to go to Tennessee Universal Reading Screener. And then any questions about assessment, TENET assessments. That's all I have for you today. Happy to take any questions.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Okay. Good morning.
Okay, we have a teacher at one of our high schools who is transitioning over second semester to an assistant principal in the same building.
Mhm.
Now, normally I've had people move from one building to the other to re-roster, but I was wondering, I want to leave his teacher data. Now, if I just change his role, that data leaves. Do I roster him twice leave the teacher and then roster him as an assistant principal?
You would mark him as PYE as the teacher.
Correct.
And then you would staff him as a principal or an assistant principal.
So would I do it in that same line, or
He's actually going to be PYE he's actually going to be PYE as a principal also.
Correct. Yeah,
so,
but once you make him a PYE, either way, you're not going to be able to see his previous evaluations. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to verify that. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
What contact do we have for our finance people that are working in T-Encompass with us as well? We run a situation where a educator was staffed under staff assignments correctly as principal, and then they were promoted and the experience shows correctly. But when you go into the salary side of T-Encompass and you look at that, the wrong code was used and it still had them in their previous position. And my person doesn't have a contact to know how to fix that or what to do with that. And I don't have the knowledge to tell them that side of things. So do we have a person at the state level that they can email or contact to ask those questions to?
Karen Justice. I think her email is karen.justice@tn.gov.
Okay.
I know she does the 120-day reports and those things. So I think maybe she might be able to help you. I'm not certain.
Yeah.
That's where I would go.
Well, I ask, and my person is, new as well, maybe 3 years new. And he just said, you know what? Nobody's ever told me about these codes and going into Encompass and doing any of this part. And the only side I know of is when I, do the staff assignments and I see the experience, but I don't know anything about the coding on the financial side. So thank you for that.
I think Karen will be able to help you. I will also say, when it comes to experience,
Yes.
making sure your experience is right, I always suggest checking with TCRS, because when you get ready to retire, they're going to be the source of that. So,
well, I did advise that. And then the question came back, okay, is there going to be a distinguishable difference between those couple of years that educator was coded as principal, but yet they were not principal? They were in, more of a district supervisory role. I can't answer that. I don't have that knowledge.
I don't
I don't know. I do know that, we have a couple that were coded wrong, and we have some that are working as district supervisor are still coded as principal. I don't know if it makes a difference. Not my area.
Yeah, I would check with Karen Justice, and it wouldn't hurt to just, if I were thinking, I'd just check my years with TCRS also.
Okay. Thank you, ladies. Have a good day.
You too.
I have a quick question. I accidentally uploaded the wrong salary schedule for the system-wide. I thought I checked it. Of course, now it's locked. So how can I get that unlocked to upload it correctly?
I would email Karen Justice again.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We don't do anything with that. I know it's in there, but try Karen Justice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I do work in that, and was on the call with Karen Justice that she had right before Christmas for that December 1 report. And that report is solely statistical data for the State Department. She said nothing you put in there will ever affect the teacher in any way. It doesn't link to TCRS. It doesn't have, so even if you don't have all the information for that individual, you're okay. So, but she does do office hours, and she is really good about emailing back.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions? I knew this one was going to be short today.
Hi, Amelia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I saw someone else asked, and I'm sorry I missed this, but they asked about someone last year needing PYE marked. Is it too late for that? What steps could we do?
No, if they should be PYE for 23-24, you can go in and you go to that educator's record. You'll have to do an administrative edit and mark them.
So I attempted to do that, and it didn't let me. Like, this was months ago when they were.
It would not let you mark them as PYE?
It was locked.
Okay, will you send me an email or send it to Team Questions with the teacher's license number and the information about why they should be PYE? You can send it to you can send it to me, or you can send it to Team Questions, and I'll look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Amy,
go ahead.
Amy, this is Judy.
Judy.
So I don't know that you're the person to answer this, but you might tell me to whom I need to go. So this morning we were working on that K2 verification for the universal reading screener. And one of the options on there is that the teacher is PYE. Well, it's pretty early in the year for us to know on some of these. Like, I have one particular teacher that's on leave of absence right now, but it's not been long enough to be PYE. And so we went ahead and confirmed her on that K2 verification. But what if we confirm her and her leave extends long enough to be PYE, and we mark that at the end of the year? Are we going to be okay doing it that way?
You are. I'm going to let Tracy answer this, but yes, you're going to be fine.
Okay.
Judy, you'll be fine, because once they're marked PYE in T Encompass later, when scores come back and they don't have a score, nothing will happen because they are marked PYE and T Encompass. When an educator has PYE and T Encompass,
Mhm.
everything is closed. There is no evaluation. There's no LOE generated anyway. So
Okay.
go ahead
That's
and
what I
confirm them
thought,
because they might come back.
Mhm.
So you confirm the only people you remove are those that are PYE right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, if they become PYE, it won't hurt them that they were confirmed. They won't get a score anyway.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I have a quick question. So we have a brand new teacher that started this past week. She's job embedded, so she's brand new. Somehow another district has picked her up into Encompass. I've reached out and talked to their HR department, but I can't get them to remove it. Is there another avenue to get that fixed? She's never worked there because she's brand new. So I think it's just an oversight on the other district's part to add her. But is there another route we can go if I can't get them to take that off?
Send me the information, please.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I have another question based on Farrah's, because Farrah and I had a conversation about something very similar to that. When we had a teacher leave our district and go to Farrah's district. I did not remove her from us. I left her PYE because I wanted a record of her teaching experience, right, to show.
That's right.
But just because I marked her PYE and T Encompass, she's not going to show PYE for Farrah, correct?
That's correct, unless Farrah marks her as PYE.
Okay.
But
Just
she
wanted to
won't
double check
generate
with you.
dials though. Is that why? Like she doesn't have dials when I pull her account up. Like she's not showing pacing dials now that she's mine.
Okay, send me her number and let me look
Yeah,
at her.
and Farrah,
Okay.
if she just started at you,
She's
you-
probably
you would need to
No.
mark her PYE.
No, she's
as-
not PYE. She's been here since like the third week of school.
okay.
So she'll
Gotcha.
get,
So she'll
yeah,
generate then. Okay.
yeah,
Then,
yeah,
Yeah.
But she just doesn't have dials.
Gotcha.
Send it to me and I'll see if we can do something about that.
I know they don't get dials unless they had an LOE the previous year, correct? In T
Right.
Encompass. But this teacher did have an LOE. So I assumed when she left and went to Farrah after like 3 weeks or so that those dials would just follow, but Farrah couldn't get them to come up.
Okay, I'll take a look at her and see if we can do that. All right. Any other questions? If not, y'all can have a little time back in your day. Thank y'all. I appreciate you coming.